And if that occurs around the country, my guess is about 1 to 2 million people organized equivalently in the 435 congressional districts can begin turning Congress around. And when Congress turns around, the federal government turns around. And when the federal government breaks its chains from the engines of corporate power, things can change, because there's a large consensus in this country on a lot of overdue changes, including full Medicare for all, including living wage, including cracking down on corporate crime, protecting the sovereignty of the people from being pulled down in these nefarious trade agreements, WTO, NAFTA. And above all, there's a big consensus on electoral reform, multi-party systems, cleaning up the monetization of holding elections as if they were auctions. That's what we got to do. Otherwise, we'll just keep diagnosing and diagnosing and
Nader,
exposing.
let me ask you something quickly.
And when nothing happens, people get frustrated and withdraw.
Ralph Nader, if the polls are correct and the Republicans take over the House, at least, John Boehner has already said that they will push to overturn the health care reform legislation. And there will be a number of subpoenas that go out, investigations like we saw with Whitewater under Clinton. What are your thoughts about this?
This is a dream come true for Mayor Mike Bloomberg of New York City. There's going to be gridlock, enormous acrimony. The temperament of John Boehner is conducive to that, and his cohorts. And the Senate is going to be more gridlocked than ever, not only because of its rules, because of its composition after today. And people are going to be angrier than ever, and it's going to open up an opportunity for someone like Mike Bloomberg, with his base among mayors all over the country and his independent wealth and his activity in New York City, to run as an independent candidate. I think we're going to have at least a three-way race, and I hope we'll have a 4-, 5-, or 6-way race with Green Party and Libertarian and Peace and Freedom Party and others whose agendas are very often right on in terms of majoritarian support. So that's what's going to happen. I think after today, Mayor Bloomberg is going to revise his calculus. He almost jumped in 2008. And he's going to say, this is the incredible year of opportunity for the mayor of New York.
And what do you think people should do today, Ralph Nader?
I think they should always vote their conscience, vote for people they believe in, like Howie Hawkins, who I've supported, from Syracuse, running for governor of New York. And if Democrats vote for him, they don't have to worry. Cuomo's going to go in a landslide, so they can vote their conscience. But I believe that when people don't vote their conscience and they don't vote who they believe in, what are they voting for?
Finally, the power of organized labor, is there any? Where do you think labor stands today, and what are its prospects?
Well, one of the ways the corporate supremacists have increased their concentration of power in this country is by maintaining labor laws like Taft-Hartley Act that obstruct workers from engaging in collective bargaining. The ranks of labor in the corporate sector have been declining. I think they're down below 9% now. Labor unions are very weak. Rich Trumka is the new head of the AFL-CIO. He gives terrific speeches, but he's got to get more muscle and not simply be a toady to the Democrats in power today and later. So I think these are not good times for labor. The card check has been ignored by Obama, who promised to further it in 2008. The minimum wage is $2.75 lower than it was in 1968. Adjusted for inflation, it would be now $10 an hour at $7.25. You got 1/3 of the entire American workforce full-time working for Walmart wages. You can't support a family on that. And so I think there needs to be an adjunct labor movement that doesn't immediately say we want to form a labor union, but an informal grouping of association labor, the way Paul Tobias of Cincinnati has been pressing for many, many years, so it becomes a political base, even though they can't achieve a union in the workplace.